Hello, good morning, peace and blessings to you. Hope this video meets you well. It is August 5th and it is a quiet, semi-foggy morning where I am in my backyard. I can hear the quiet of the morning, I can hear the birds, I can hear the early morning sounds, and I just heard the garbage truck as it passed by, breaking into the early morning sounds of nature. And everybody in my house is asleep. It's around 6 in the morning. I have my chia seeds water, which is with lemon honey and apple cider vinegar. And this chia seeds water has been one of my secret, not so secret, but one of my key components to my weight loss quest that I've been on for the summer. And it is going well. It is going well. My weight loss quest is going well. And I am taking it in with gratitude and remembering how summer after summer I've tried this. Summer after summer I've tried this quest, and I have tried and failed. I spent the whole summer getting only 2 pounds off, and only a couple pounds off, and then I would gain it back over the holidays. And the thing that I've learned about this quest this year is that it is not only about just wanting it, it's not only about wanting it, it's about the whole mindset change. It's about that retraining of your mind, that determination in your mind, that, looking at food in a different way and working on it becoming a habit change and a lifestyle change. Loving taking care of your body, not liking how it feels when you eat too much and your body feels too heavy. Not liking how it feels when you training your body and your mind to not need to feel full, to feel satisfied. But actually when you feel full, you feel like you ate too much, right? So having that mindset change has been very, very helpful. Being on YouTube, because I used to be on Instagram. And being on YouTube is a whole different ballgame. The algorithm on YouTube is so much better for me than the algorithm on Instagram. And I am discovering accounts that I wouldn't even have known, channels that I wouldn't even have known to look for, And my algorithm knows what to send me. It sends me interesting spiritual channels. It sends me interesting health-related channels. And I learn because I click on things to learn new things, so that I could discover secrets that I never discovered before. Secrets that I didn't even know, not necessarily secrets, but hidden secrets until they're not secrets, that I didn't even know to look for. Discoveries, let's call them discoveries, because they're not secrets. They're just discoveries waiting to be found, seen, heard. All right, so I'm going to pause, drink my chia seeds water, and then we will continue this conversation. I changed my mind. I'm not going to pause. I'm just going to drink. I am thankful on this August 5th. Extremely favored, extremely thankful. I've always been favored, but I've always been blessed. But this year feels like a different kind of year. And I am taking advantage of the momentum. And I feel as though this year, I've always felt this year is whatever you want this year to be. Whichever choice or whichever side you choose to go on, the side of fear, the side of all that negative toxicity, feeding on that food every day, or the side of solutions, the side of joy, the side of I'm not letting anybody squish my light, I'm not letting anybody take my fear. And I'm well aware, I always think about it when I talk, I'm well aware of how words are easy to say and life is complicated. And how people say, that's easy for you to say, or things like that. That's easy for you to say. Words are easy to say. I mean, being able to have the kind of year I am having isn't necessarily all my doing, isn't because I just chose to have this kind of year. It was more like, it was time. It was more like this year chose to be this way for me. This year chose to put in front of me, You could put things in front of people all the time, and they choose what to do with that information. You know, you could put choices in front of people, but they still get to choose. So this year, put things in front of me, tools. You know, like when you play Minecraft. When you play Minecraft, you discover materials and tools to help you build and create and have the protection and have whatever it is that you need. But you, the player, deliver, you still have to look at those tools and see what they can make. You still have to figure out what you're going to make with those tools. You still got to figure out how to use those tools. You still have to figure out whether or not you will even pick up the damn tools. So that's the choice that the player, the human, the liver has to choose. And this year presented me with a lot of treasures, and I chose to take them up. I chose to take up those treasures and run with them. Use the momentum to push me, to carry me to the future and the world that I want to live in. You know, to carry me to be the change that I want to be, that I want to see in the world. All right, so let me finish drinking my drink. All right, so in case you might be discovering my channel for the first time and you made it this far in the video because I already was talking for 6 minutes, about 6 minutes. I am Letitia. I am at present 42 years old. I'm a 42-year-old millennial, homeschooling, home managing, immigrant mom of 5 living in the US. I am a poet, writer, creator, intuitive, an INFJ empath. I am what else? I consider myself a light worker. I consider myself a New Earth beacon, New Earth messenger. And if you're wondering what kind of woo-woo stuff that is, New Earth is a frequency. New Earth is kind of like believing in a future that is more loving, more kind, more healed, more in harmony and balance with the planet, you know, better for humanity than what the world and the energy that's being created by these dictators and haters and isms, you know, these racists and these narcissists and these all these negative people, these people who run the world in the with that masculine egotistical energy. The New Earth frequency is the birth of the rising of the divine feminine, meaning a more balanced world where you balance not toxic masculinity, but you balance healthy masculinity with the divine feminine, the feminine divine. You know, we're nurturing and healing. And oh, look at this fog. Let me see if I can turn. Look at this fog. Can you see it? It's beautiful, beautiful morning. The healing energy of, you know, that feminine energy that you know, tapping into your intuition. That's where the feminine energy comes from, having strong intuition. And you see, the reason that intuition is going to be the savior of humanity, intuition and discernment is going to be the savior of humanity. The reason that you have to have the rise of the divine feminine in an technological world, and the technological world where advancements such as AI and all those and great technological advancements, but yet still there's this energy of fear that you're going to be replaced or AI is going to come for you. You know, they have all these movies that talk about that shit, you know, like iRobot and how and Terminator and all these movies that talked about the robots coming for you, you know, the technology turning on humanity. And the reason technology turned on humanity in most of those movies was for the same reason, because they thought that that mankind didn't deserve to be at the top of the chain, I guess, to be the leaders of the world, because we were so damn immature, we were selfish, we were greedy, we were cruel, we were destroying the planet, we were destroying our own fucking home, you know. I want to apologize because my number one watcher is my mom. My mom is never a fan of my cursing, and I starting to curse a lot more lately, you know. I'm just speaking from a natural place. So this is the language that is just coming out my mouth right now, you know. But I I'm just expressing myself. I, you know, the robots, the AIs, they just didn't think that we would deserved it, you know. And if you want to avoid a future like that, right? If you want to avoid a future, is that no? That's a worm. If you want to avoid a future where they turn on us, the robots and the AI, the artificial intelligence, which by the way, I don't fully conceptualize how what it is, what AI really is. You know, I haven't gotten there yet. I'm still basically so basic with the way how I use AI right now. I use AI like a tool, like a search engine. I use Gemini, Google Gemini a little bit, and you Google and the Canva AI to help me design my thumbnails and stuff, and design things. And that's as far as I got. You know, so I know people are way more advanced in their understanding of AI and their use of AI than I am, and I am very much behind. But my whole thing is that if humanity don't want the artificial intelligence to turn on you and try to save humanity from itself by turning us into slaves, you know, there's a couple of things we need to do. We need to not have these people that are trying to control AI, trying to use this technology to turn us into slaves. That's what it seems to me that they're trying to do, turn us into slaves, because in their mind they don't need our labor anymore. So we are not necessary, we are not needed. So they just basically want to turn us into little chess pieces on a game that they play, turn us into slaves. So I think humanity is going to need to remember that we outnumber these people. And, you know, and they're going to have to remember it as quick as possible. This is why I believe 2025 is about waking up. And if we use this opportunity to our advantage, because this guy, DJT, you know, he is a destroyer, but he could be the kind of destroyer, right? He's not only just a destroyer, but he's a revealer. And he is bringing truths to the surface. He is a tool. Was the right one for the right time. A tool to bring all kinds of energies and truths to the surface. And he could possibly, if we play our cards right, be a awful gift that we didn't ask for, but a gift to humanity that leads to a greater good. You know, he could be actually what MAGA thinks he is, but they think he is in a different way. You know, he could be a gift that leads to the greater good of humanity, because he wakes people up at a quicker rate than people would wake up normally. And he speed up the process of the slow boil that we were in. And that might be a gift instead of a curse. It's left to be seen, because again, this is a free will thing, and it's all about choices. It's all about choice. You can have the tools, the information, you can have the truth laid right in front of you, but you are the one who have to receive it and believe it. You're the one who have to trust. You're the one who have to follow your intuition or follow your discernment. This is why intuition and discernment is some key components to surviving the new earth frequency, the new earth, the new world that we're about to live in, the world of AI advancements, the world where we're going to need less human labor, you know. But that doesn't mean that we, the humans, are irrelevant or insignificant, because we, the humans, have something that AI, artificial intelligence, will never have. And also, artificial intelligence learn from us. It's not the other way around. A lot of people are going to learn from them, learn from the AI afterwards. You know, when we teach it enough stuff, it can become the teacher of the future generations. But first of all, it's being shaped by us, the bridge generation, the millennials, the ones that are alive as we transition to this era that we will never go back to how we were. Never. The world will never return to the way it was. You know, I just read yesterday a thing that said, a little post that said, do you know that we are the last generation to know what it's like to live in a world without social media? We are the last generation, the millennials is the last generation to know what it's like to live in a world without social media. We got to see this introduced to the world. We were alive long enough to know what it was like to have a childhood without social media. You know, I only joined social media in officially me became a social media person in 2020, and that was because I became interested in politics and I wanted to introduce people to Pete Buttigieg. I love Pete Buttigieg, and so I joined social media, became a social media person. But before that, I barely used social media. I didn't even really have a smartphone that sort of way, you know. And I can't even believe it that there was a time in my life that wasn't this way. I didn't talk in my phone all the time, didn't record things all the time. I gotta tell you, my life became better when I when social media became a part of my life, because I got to learn from a lot of other people. I got inspired by a lot of other people. Making posts and recordings made me hold myself accountable to trying new things, and it gave me a sense of motivation and determination in shaping the life that I wanted, because I had something to look forward to. I had people, whether or I had the option to create posts and share these things, even if I didn't have a lot of people that was actually following my accounts and whatever. It still was fun to create posts, sharing my ideas, my thoughts, my victories, my successes, the things that I got to enjoy. I wanted to share those enjoyments and discoveries with other people. And then I got to discover other people myself and be motivated by other people and learn from other people and enjoy other people's creations. And honestly, I love that version of social media. I love that version. I hate the version in which social media also brought us the DJT presidency, and it brought us a second time. You know, it was used the first time to bring it to give it to us, and the second time, you know, it's a possibility that COVID and hit and a lot of all that bad stuff that happened during 2020, you know, is what this shifted the energy and shifted it towards JB, right? But social media is what gave us our first social media president, a liar and an entertainer and a marketer who was able to lie and gaslight and entertain and market himself into the White House 2 times, you know, with a little help, you know, with a lot of help from a lot of powers, you know, and some cheating, a lot of cheating, you know. But it's this social media era that brought us that presidency. And here's the thing: the world has to change, and you know, we gotta go through all this bad shit because we gotta see that it can't stay the same. You gotta realize that picking presidents are going to be different. You know, people have to have discernment and be able to sort propaganda and misinformation, disinformation from the truth. You gotta be able to filter your discernment and your intuition, which I've been saying for years, is key components that has to be activated and strong. You know, because now anybody could put any kind of lies and be a part of a messaging machine. Anybody, any regular person that we don't know, somebody from the damn basement could create an energy, an egregore, or be a part of an energy towards any kind of thing. And this is another thing too why I believe that light bearers, light workers, star seeds, and all the words that, you know, people say, the people of the light, you know, have to be here too. We have to put our light and our truth and our version of the world onto social media too. We got to put our stuff out, because AI cannot just feed on the food of the liars and the gaslighters and the negative people who is trying to rewrite history and, you know, basically tell lies and make lies the truth, and truth lies. You know, we have to be the truth tellers. We have to be the truth seekers. We have to be the light bearers, the light energy, and put those light codes on the internet. So that's why I post so damn much on the internet. I post so much, and I think about it all the time, and I'm like, who is watching my videos? I don't know who, but I think about it, and I think about the SEO, the codes that I attach to every single thing that I post, my shorts, everything I post. There are codes, there are hashtags, and those codes and hashtags add to that energy of whatever you're talking about. Whether it's health is wealth, whether it's prevention is better than cure, whether it is truth, light, love, joy, peace, harmony, balance, good vibes, positive energy, all that stuff, all the good stuff. Dance in defiance of darkness, get up and exercise, like sending positive messages and positive energy out into the world and putting those codes out. That's why my content is there, to put light codes, to add to the codes of light and love and truth and democracy and freedom and joy and good stuff. So I'm going to continue this conversation. Oh, before I go on this August 5th, I wanted to say that I want to share my quest numbers. I don't think I've shared those in a while. Quest numbers. I had three main quests for 2025. The first quest is what I spent the first 6 months of the year dealing with, which is balance and harmony and inner peace and mindset change. That's what was able to help me kick off my weight loss quest. That was what was able to help me kick off quest 2 and quest 3. Mindset change and spiritual inner peace and spiritual balance, and just dealing with here and covering myself in protection and love. And quest 2 was my weight loss, body health, and that is going very, very, very well. Even I am so grateful. Today my scale said 208, and I've been dying to see it say 208 for almost a week, and we finally got here. It is 208 today. I kind of slightly took a little pause, maybe, I don't know what the right word is, but on the full-blown quest of body health, weight loss, body health. And even though I didn't overeat or anything like that, I was making memories with my family. So like last week on Friday, we went to McDonald's, we had lunch, and I wouldn't trade that for the freaking world. I ate a chicken sandwich. Saturday I had Popeyes because I went out on a car starter date with my husband. A supermarket date, really. We went to a new supermarket that we never went to before, but he fed me. We went and we had Popeyes, and then Sunday we took a long drive to Water Gardens. It's a landscape place, but it's almost like a koi zoo to me. Where you could go and look at the kois and the ponds and stuff like that. They sell koi, they deal with ponds, they sell water garden landscaping stuff, and they have such beautiful ponds, and it's a beautiful layout, and it's an hour drive. So we went to do that, and that was so much fun. And we went to a new restaurant, and we had fries and burger and all that, and I wouldn't trade those memories for the freaking world. And I was like, I wonder what my weight is number is now. Did I go up, or to my pleasant surprise, I was still at 209. So I really still was kind of responsible. I did eat, but I didn't overeat. I was still responsible with my eating. I made up the lunch. I made up those calories. I used less calories for breakfast and supper. So I just really, the calorie count was really in the lunch, But like I said, wouldn't trade those memories and those moments with my family for the freaking world. I was on cloud 9. That's something that we haven't done in a long time. And I was on cloud 9. I'm grateful. Like I said, to me, August is abundance August. That's what this month is. This is abundance August for me. I hope that you receive that too, and you start calling it your August, abundance August. This is my birthday. August is my birthday. Yes, the whole month. I got a t-shirt that says that. Yes, the whole month. August is my birthday. Right? August is also my daughter's birthday too. My daughter will be 19 and I will be 43. Anyway, quest number today, health quest 2 number 208, and I am so happy. I'm very, very, very grateful. Quest number 3 was my YouTube growth. So you wanted to see the scale numbers go down. You want to see the YouTube growth numbers, the subscriber numbers, and the watch hour numbers, and all these things increase. And the subscriber number is at 69. I'm at 69 at present, so I'm grateful for that. You'll see how that number evolves, if it grows, if it goes up, or if it there's a little bounce where it goes down and goes up, because sometimes a lot of these subscribers come from the shorts, and the shorts, I honestly post all kind of random shorts because I'm a person of multifaceted person, like I said. So I just post memories and experiences and just fun shorts, And I feel like one of the subscribers I think I got from my dance video, and I kind of like checked, and the, I don't think that subscriber is going to really like me so much when they really see what kind of energy and what I kind of post, because like from checking the things that this person posts is very antithetical, opposite, very to the energy that I put out into the world. So when I start to really post my truth in different ways, in shorts and different things, and they catch on to it, that number might go down. We'll see. But it is what it is. It's a journey, it's a process, and I'm just gonna keep moving forward. I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud of myself, and I really wish, I wish that people would give me a chance. I know my videos are long, and I wish people would give me a chance, because I don't know if I'm wrong or not, but I do think that these videos are good, like really good. They like can only get better from here. They're good. They're uniquely my style, but I think they're good. So anyhow, and then a little interesting thing that I saw, and I screenshot it. I clipped it, as I would say, screenshot it. Is that there's something interesting happening in relation to, I forgot what the title of the video, the news feed is, the news notification. But there's something interesting going on with the planet Earth, and the spin, right? That's going to make August 5th the shortest day on record. So I am curious to see what that looks like. But I can tell you one thing. It's a foggy, peaceful, calm morning where I am. I got a worm on my face. I just had my chia seeds water. I'm enjoying my life. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing so far, the energy that I'm feeling. And I think that today is going to be a good day. Today is going to be a good day. Almost to my first 100 subscribers. Almost there. Almost there. I'm looking forward to seeing what the month of August have in store for all of us, what it has in store for me. And I'm for it. I'm blessed. I'm grateful. I'm favored. I'm loved. I hope that you see that you are too. And you have a wonderful day whenever you're seeing this video. Hope you have a wonderful day. Sending you love, peace, and joy. We're going to meet you in the Serenity Room. Hello, peace and blessings. Good morning to you. Hello, I hope this video meets you well. Recording on August 6, 2025. That would make me about 22 days away from my 43rd birthday. And I wasn't planning on recording this morning, but I got up, I looked at the scale, and the scale said 207 point something, to around 207 pounds. And I felt so grateful and so good about that I wanted to record. And say, and to share that news. 207 point something on the scale. So my goal is by my birthday is the end of this month. I'm the 28th of August. By my birthday to be out of the 200s in terms of my weight. And I am celebrating. I'm celebrating, even though it might not seem that way. I am celebrating in my soul, cautiously celebrating, because for so long I've tried this for many, many, many summers. I've tried this, and I would try and fail. I would try and fail. And, even last summer, I even went big. Last summer, I saw these ads on Instagram for Happy Mammoth, a hormone balance whatever, like supplements or whatever, you know, and this whole weight loss thing, and they was so convinced. I mean, like, people were talking about it. The ads were really good, you know. I have no doubt that it probably is a product that does work for people, but for some freaking reason, you know, I invested in their ultimate weight loss plan, you know, and I was convinced. I was absolutely sure. I had to convince my husband. I said, I'm sure. I did the research. I watched the I watched the ads. I read the reviews, and I was so sure it was going to work. And I was like, yeah, and I'm determined too. I was so sure it was going to work, and I invested. It was $200 and something, and I actually invested using a payment plan. So I was paying for it for the entire year after that investment, you know, for 12 months. And to my disappointment, it didn't work. It didn't work at all, not even a little. It didn't move the needle enough for me to see that it was worth my money. I was using the stuff. I was doing the thing. I got blocked at one point. I got blocked at the coming on to the end, because it was like some sort of regime for 3 months, and coming on to the end where you had to use this what is it called, like some sort of protein powder or something. I can't remember from in my head right now, but and no matter how hard I tried to mix this thing, it wouldn't mix properly, and it tastes horrible. It tastes absolutely horrible. And you know, I was on the third part of this regime, and it didn't move. My weight didn't move at all in the first 2 months, you know, and that was very discouraging. And then I was trying to drink this powder, and I was feeling miserably. It was just chaotic, and it was just a total failure, you know. So a lot of the times things happen and it's a blur, and I don't know how to explain, but it was just a failure. And you know, I was heartbroken and disappointed because I was so mad. I was so mad at the universe. I thought that the universe had brought a solution for me. You know, I thought that this was that thing that I was waiting for and looking for. This was the secret thing, the thing that the answer that I was looking for. It was finally going to happen. It was going to happen this time. I was so convinced. And I was so upset and angry that it didn't work, and it ended in failure, and me having to pay off for this thing that didn't work for the rest of the year. And I was so pissed. I was so mad, especially because when it comes to making big investments, my husband is a stickler when it comes to finances, and I had to like convince him. I had to convince him that this was going to work. He, being his husband himself, you know, he didn't think it would. And I just thought he was being negative. I just thought he was saying these things because he didn't want me to spend any money. And maybe that was the case, but nevertheless, he still happened to be right anyway. It didn't work, you know. I don't think it didn't work just because of the product itself. I think it didn't work because I couldn't do there was other things that needed to be done. The other, you know, it was the mindset change. It was the habit change. It was the having an exercise regime. It was a exercise routine and stuff like that. It was eating, you know, eating low calorie stuff. And that was hard to do because last summer our finances really sucked, you know, and the summer before that it sucked. For some summer finances are really tough, you know, and I made sure that mentally I did not accept that was going to happen again this year. And in July, there was this like temptation, this test where it did slow down. The finances did slow down. And there was that test of thinking, oh shit, this is going to happen again, even though even though I said in my mind it wasn't, even though I was determined that this is not going to happen again, that our finances are not going to be as slow as they normally are during summer, you know, and we're not going to struggle as hard. And there was this like sense of fear, you know, easing into my soul, like trying to creep into my soul. Fear of, oh shit, I'm gonna lose the momentum. I was doing so well, and then all of a sudden our finances are gonna get so bad that I can't buy the fruits and vegetables and the different things that would help in terms of my weight loss journey, like having the right foods in the house. And I got scared and I was like, oh crap, I gotta eat cheap food, I gotta eat food that we could afford, you know. I'm not going to be able to do this. It was creeping in, but I refused to let it fully in, to sit in my soul and have a cup of coffee with me and to hang out with me. Like I said, I don't drink coffee, so let's say tea. I don't know why I say coffee all the time. To have a cup of tea with me. I didn't invite it in. I was like, no, you stay out there. You keep knocking on that door, but I refuse to answer. I refuse to accept that in my mind that this summer, and I know it was a test, because I was like, it's feeling that way, but nope, it's not. Nope, nope, nope. This is not happening this time. And I declare August, abundant August, and not only in my mind, but I know it in my soul. This August is abundant August, and it already started like abundant August, you know. But I was really disappointed. I was really disappointed last summer, you know, and I had the fears in July that this summer was gonna be like last summer, but it isn't. And I'm glad that I passed the test. I'm glad that I didn't allow those fears to creep in and then make it real and then make it so. I refuse to accept that. I refuse to accept that this summer was gonna be like last summer. So now that I'm seeing the things happening, now that I'm seeing the numbers move in the way that I have been dreaming and desiring to see those numbers move for year after year after year, you wouldn't believe the amount of years that I have been trying this. And I'm like, 2025 is special. I knew it was. I knew it was special. I knew it was special early on, and I knew there was a momentum here, and I knew that if there was anything that we wanted out of life, anything that we were striving for, anything that we were waiting on, this was the year that it was going to happen. This was the year where you grab the momentum. This is the year where you run. This is the year where you climb. This is the year where you pick that thing up. This is the year where you fight. You know, this is the year where you give it that really hard push and that determination, and you don't give up and you keep going. I knew in my soul that this was what 2025 is all about. It was about facing your fears and clearing your karma for those who have to deal with that shit, for getting those things, for receiving those things that you've been waiting for and pushing for and seeking for so many years. Is about it is about determination and openness and courage and strength and fearlessness and all these things. That's what it's about, you know. And that is why this year has so many distractions. That is why this year the dark forces are doing everything it can to keep people eyes off of their goal, keep people eyes off the prize, keep people unfocused, keep people distracted, keep people paralyzed with fear, keep people, you know, missing the whole point, like keep people focusing on the fact that you might have get fired or laid off or whatever, not realizing that this was the time to really go for whatever it was that you always had in your heart and your soul to go for the longest time. Those ideas, this was the time to try, this was the time to take chances, this was the time where you practically had nothing to lose because you're having things taken away from you. You know what I mean? That is how I see it. That is how I see it. And I am living 2025 out of, only from one perspective, and that is mine. So I don't know what other people's perspectives are. I only get a peek when people share things on the internet. But I am not in, 2025. I haven't been consuming that much of other people's content because I've been focusing on my goals, focusing on what I need to learn and what the secrets and the treasures and the discoveries and the things that I need, the tools, the information, what I need to move forward in the momentum, to move forward into the dreams that I've had for so long. So anyway, I wanted to share that. My my numbers today for quest 2, which is my weight loss body health goals. Quest 2 is 207. I'm in the 207 realm, and I'm still in the game. The goal is to get out of the 200s by August 28th. By August 27th. My birthday is August 28th. Quest 3, YouTube growth. 69 subscribers at present. 69 subscribers at present. And it is August 6th. It's August 6th. 22 days away from my birthday. And it's a nice, pleasant, quiet, chilly morning. And here I am. I am here. I am loved. I am favored. I am blessed. This is abundant August. Good things are coming my way. Money is coming my way. Money, surprises, pleasant surprises, things that I've been waiting for a long time, coming my way. Good things are coming in August. And I just want to share this little thing from my tea bag, this little quote. The bad news is time flies. The good news is you're the pilot. And that is from somebody called Michael Altschiller. Michael Altschiller. But so peace and blessings, and thank you for listening. So I finally made it into the Serenity Room to make this recording, in which I'm going to share some digital clippings, as I call them, some screenshots of things that, caught my interest, things that are happening in the news that are being discussed, things that are going on. I finally made it in the Serenity Room to take a look at that. And I did screenshot a lot of digital clippings, a lot of stuff over the last couple of days. And yesterday I recorded a video where I discussed the ones that I did over the weekend and the ones that I captured over the weekend. And I collected some screenshots for the last 2 days that I haven't discussed. So I want to discuss those. And I am feeling a little bit tired. I'm feeling a little bit tired because this energy that I'm in, this 2025 energy that I'm in, the claiming and the striving and the pushing and that is not really a natural INFJ, empath, Lightworker energy. I just honestly right now in this time I do not know how to fully relax. I kind of want to be somewhere else to where I am, but I have to wait until the moment is right, until the door is open. I have no idea where I'm supposed to go or what the next step is. So I'm waiting for that as well. I'm waiting for revelation to know when and where and how. So I'm waiting, and while I'm waiting I am getting ready, I'm getting prepared. I am preparing my body, my mind, my soul, my spirit, my protection, and I'm getting myself ready and getting and in the meanwhile getting myself ready to be a support to my husband and my family and a guide to my children as we prepare ourselves to move in to whatever the next season of our lives are. So I'm trying to so the things that I'm working on in this 2025 timeline, my inner peace, my inner balance, my soul protection. That was quest 1. That's still quest 1. Quest 2 is the body health and the physical health, losing the weight and making sure that my body is how I want it to be, energetically and physically, etc., etc. And then number 3, the YouTube growth, trying to develop this YouTube channel while figuring out what my YouTube voice is, what my presence is on YouTube, trying to be authentic and staying true to myself, even though staying true to myself is being different. I'm feeling so different, and I watch people who are different, and but yet still, even with those people that I watch that have their own unique style or whatever, it still feels as though I still feel like even more different and distant from everybody. Like I live in my own world, and I have this vision of the world and have this vision of how I want to navigate this world, how I want to move through the world, and trying to figure out the balance of how to do it, how to be that, how to stay true to that vision, and how to be my authentic self. And that is why I call this channel Letitia Learns Life, because I feel as though I don't know anything. I am learning everything and unlearning some things and changing and transitioning and shifting and becoming and dealing with emotions and thoughts and ideas and visions and etc., 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 trying to find my way. So I'm going to flip the screen now, and I'm going to discuss the things that I screenshot. And yeah, I wanted to show you what's going on from my perspective, what I've seen, what's going on. And I don't really have a perspective per se, because like, as far as I said in the video that I did yesterday, to me everything just seems black and white at this point. There's right and there's wrong, there's light and there's dark, there's love and there's hate. And it just feels as though at the moment things are separated in the most simplest form. It is either it comes from love or it comes from hate. It comes from light or it comes from darkness. It comes from high vibration or low vibration. Yeah, vibrational energy. It comes from future focus, moving ahead, progressing, modernity, moving towards a future, or sticking with old mindsets and sticking with old habits and staying the same. Caterpillar energy, butterfly energy or caterpillar energy. It just feels to me like everything at this point in time that I am witnessing is very, very black and white. And we actually are adding more context and more drama and more over analyzing and over discussing the simplest things, right and wrong, discussing whether this is right or wrong, and making something that is black and white have color and shades, where honestly and truthfully, in my opinion, it is as simple as the difference between right and wrong, and love and hate, etc., 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 up and down. Right and wrong is that simple to me. That's how I'm seeing the world. I'm seeing the world as it's not as complicated as human beings at this point is making it out to be. So let me flip the screen and share the things that I screenshot over the last couple of days, and we'll talk about it a little bit. Hey everybody, thank you for still being here. Thank you for watching this video. Now this is the part of the video in which I show you my digital clippings, also known as screenshots, and pictures and things that I saved that I found to be interesting in one way or the next, whether it be a quote, or a headline, or just a story of interest, whatever, like basically things of interest. And there's a lot of stuff that's been happening, and it's it's a lot. There's a lot of stuff that has been happening at this time, a whole bunch of things at once, and it's hard to really know what to focus on particularly. Like for me, I am just like looking at it from a overall perspective. How I envision it is kind of like just cutting these things out of the newspapers and just having them laid out in front of you. Having all these little bits and pieces of puzzle laid out in front of you. So the one thing that I know that's been in the headlines for the last 2 days is, gerrymandering is the word of the last 3 days, or even longer than that, where Texas is basically trying to change their maps, trying to gerrymander their maps and make it more beneficial, even more in favor of Republican politicians, and to try to gain at least 5 more Republican seats in Congress, which is basically cheating, which is basically wrong. As simple as that. It is wrong. It is cheating. It's dishonest. It's just a dishonest way to win, to try to win a competition, to win something. It's a dishonest way to win. And Texas Democrats have left the state in order to prevent them from having, I believe you call it decorum, prevent them from having decorum, I think is the word. What the amount of the ability to make laws, because that's really how the Texas Congress work. I don't know all these phrases, but that's the way the Texas government works, I guess. You have to have everybody, I guess, or a certain amount of people have to be present in order to make laws. That's what I gather. Like I said, I'm on a journey of learning, and there's so many things to learn all at once. It is very, very difficult. I try my best to understand things as best as I possibly can, but apparently, you have to have a certain amount of people present in order to made laws in Texas. So this is not the first time that me have witnessed Republican Democrats and Texas Democrats, you know, flee the state, leave the state in order to slow down or to stop a law from being passed. I mean, but the governor kind of just waited them out, and the thing that they were trying to delay and slow down, it eventually still ended up passing because it's really, really hard because these people literally have to flee their lives, their livelihood, their homes, their jobs, all, they have to leave everything in order to stay away from the state, in order to slow down. And there's only so long that you can do that. So I don't know what the ultimate plan is when it comes to this kind of thing. But the last time that they tried it, it didn't really get 100%. It just caused a delay, but it didn't stop the law from being passed. It didn't stop that really, really bad thing from being passed. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but I know it was a really, really bad law. It was a really bad law. But it just caused a delay, but it didn't really stop the law from being passed. So two things that I know about Texas, the Texas government, from witnessing it and from paying attention for a certain amount of years, for the last 10 years. I don't know how long it's been. 8-10 years I've been paying attention. Two things that I know for sure: the governor and the AG, the Attorney General Ken Paxton, and the governor are two of the most wickedest men that I have ever come across. Their energy is so corrupt and so cruel and so wicked and so evil. And the things that come out of their mouths and the things that they do is so cruel and evil. It is hard to watch. So anyway, here's a quote from the Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, a very, very corrupt Attorney General from what I've witnessed. They tried to impeach him at one point, and it did not succeed. The Texas Congress or whatever tried to impeach him and it didn't work. But he is a very dishonest, very corrupt politician. So here's his quote: "Democrats in the Texas House who try and run away like cowards should be found, arrested, and brought back to the Capitol immediately. We should use every tool at our disposal to hunt down those who think they are above the law." And the phrasing "hunt down," that phrasing right there, that gives me the EBGBs. Like that language is, he knows the implications of using words in that way. And then Greg Abbott: "Texas House Democrats abandon their duty to Texans by fleeing the state. Texas House Democrats are holding hostage critical legislation to aid flood victims and advance property tax relief. There are consequences for their election of duty." And that's Texas Governor Greg Abbott, and that is him trying to use emotional manipulation in order to have the people on their side, have the people not leaving out the fact that they're trying to change up the maps and cheat people out of their votes and cheat some constituents, Democratic constituents, out of representation, and cheat them out of their votes by gerrymandering. That's a word that people need to learn. Gerrymandering, cutting up the map in their favor, like redistricting and cutting up the map in their favor, and eliminating the representation of Democrats in their states, in their districts, in their state. So Texas House Republicans voted 85-6. This is like 3 days ago. 85-6 to authorize the House Sergeant at Arms and related officers to track down and civilly arrest Democrats who fled the state in protest of the GOP redistricting efforts. Shortly after the vote, Texas Republican Governor Greg Abbott said he ordered the Texas Department of Public Service to find and arrest the Democrats who fled the state, an order which will remain in effect until until they are accounted for and brought back to Austin. The warrants, however, have no power outside the state lines. So here we are to the point of people, point of the political system is so broken now and so divided that we got to the point now that we are governors are people are authorizing arrest warrants against their colleagues, against their colleagues. So I had screenshot this too. This is these are things that I screenshot on Monday. And this was an article from US Today about how the Trump administration, how they concrete the Jacqueline Kennedy rose garden. It was a beautiful rose garden and they turn it into concrete. So here is what it was before, and now it's just this concrete path, The White House's iconic rose garden, and the rose garden was there for a long time too. The White House's iconic rose garden is looking a little less rosy these days as part of the various renovation initiatives at the White House led by President Donald Trump. The center section of the rose garden, which has traditionally been covered with grass, has been replaced by stone tiles. But why break with tradition? The president claims the grass makes it difficult for women to wear high heels. So, there you go. That's just the energy of this person. He acts as though, and I'm sure he's absolutely convinced that this White House is his. It doesn't belong to the people. It's not him. He's not there temporary. As far as he's concerned, he's there, for the rest of his life. It seems like that's his home now. Nobody else is coming. Nobody else is coming into that White House. It seems like, this was screenshot on Monday. All major Las Vegas Strip casinos are now unionized in historic labor victory. So Culinary Workers Union, representing 60,000 hospitality workers in Nevada, has achieved a historic victory on the Las Vegas Strip. For the first time in the union's 90-year history, all major casinos on the Strip are unionized. Experts say the Culinary Union's success is a notable exception in a national landscape where union membership overall is declining. About 10% of U.S. workers belong to the union in 2024, down from 20% in 1983, the first year for which data is available, according to U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. And that's the same U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics where the commissioner, where the statistics chief was just fired, for putting out factual data about the economy. Unrelated to news, just a positive quote that I really appreciate that resonates with me. Stop keeping your clothes and shoes for special occasions. Wear them whenever you can. Nowadays, being alive is a special occasion. That highly resonates with me, and I have started to do that a long time ago. I'm like, just wear the damn thing. Just enjoy your life, because you don't know how long you have it. I am grateful for this fresh start. This week brings me closer to my dreams, opens new doors, and aligns me with my highest good. And that was a Monday post that I had saved. This is Jasmine Crockett. She is a Texas Democrat. Representative Jasmine Crockett, who is one of the Texas Democrats in Chicago attempting to block a vote on redistricting in her home state, told ABC News, "We are in a fight for the soul of this country. We are in a fight for the soul of this country. Morality seems to be out the window, and legality seems to be out the window. But hopefully we can bring some of that back, and it is going to take a real fight." So that's Representative Jasmine Crockett. Okay, so choose the screenshots. So screenshot this one. A former New York prison guard sentenced to 15 years for the beating death of Black inmate. I also screenshot my weight thing on Tuesday. This is what it was on Tuesday. This is a scale that I use that is connected to a specific app that would keep the data for me, that would register the data for me and register the weight loss and all, and certain things. Mysterious boost. This was what I was talking about August 5th being the shortest day, but I didn't really experience it or feel it because I guess I wasn't really paying attention to when it got dark and when the day ended. But mysterious boost to the Earth's spin will make August 5th one of the shortest days on record. On Tuesday, August 5th, 2025, Earth's solar day will be 1.34 milliseconds shorter than 24 hours, making it one of the shortest days since records began. Amid less understood core dynamics, scientists note that the reasons for the Earth's rotation speed increase in the recent years are unclear, with liquid core slowdown likely involved. In July, scientists forecast solar days shorter than 24 hours on July 9th, July 22nd, and August 5th, with August 5th being the shortest at 1.36 milliseconds less. While imperceptible to humans, milliseconds variations can affect computers, satellites, telecommunications, necessitating automatic clock tracking. Experts caution that a negative leap second could be added if Earth's rotation accelerations continue through 2029, with about 40% probability by 2035. So, as stated by many creators and spiritual creators and scientists and all kinds of creators, the Earth is shifting and things are changing. Things are changing. The Earth is shifting. Things are happening. 2 dead and at least 58 sick from growing Legionnaire's disease cluster in New York City. Two people died and at least 58 have now been diagnosed with Legionnaire's disease following a cluster that broke out in the Harlem area of New York City last week, officials have confirmed. And this is one that I had screenshot from Know This Impact, where, it says, it's not just the jobs report, a trip down memory lane of all things rigged. What's that line about protesting too much? Trump is claiming the jobs report is rigged because he doesn't like the numbers. According to the latest report, 73,000 jobs were added in July, far below expectations, and the May and June numbers were revised lower by over 200,000 jobs. Instead of taking this in stride and focusing on solutions, Trump did what he always does, claim everyone is out to get him and that it is all a farce. And he is so shameless about it too. In the 2016 general election, rigged, he says. Claims he should have won by millions. Even though he won. Jeez. Mail-in voting, rigged. 2020 general election, rigged. Trump's hush money trial, rigged. Oh my God, on and on and on. I mean, this man has to be one of the stupidest human beings that I have ever had the unfortunate disadvantage of knowing exists. A quote that I saved. When you overthink, remember this quote. Worrying doesn't take away tomorrow's troubles. It takes away today's peace. Whether this is an illusion, game, simulation, divine revelation, or all of the above, the answer is still love. And there you go. That highly resonates with me, because at the end of the day, that's the one true thing. That's the one thing that we could say without a doubt is the answer. All you need is love. Love is the answer to everything. Okay, a Robert Reich post. Trump hates facts. He rejects truth. He doesn't want the public to know what's really happening. Trump has destroyed the credibility of the BLS, which is the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which is something that I recently learned. Because of this man, he has had me learn so much about the facets of government, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it, and like I had said in earlier parts of this video, if we take this negative and turn it into positive, transmute it into something good, this experience, this horrible experience, and this experience that we have dealt with, the manifestation of all the worst parts of humanity in one person, if we learn from this and I really pay attention and learn from this, the changes and the world could be a better place because we would have learned so much. We would have paid attention to things that we would never have paid attention to otherwise. So anyway, rigged adjective, a Trumpian response to an unflattering truth. Rigged the 2020 election. Low job numbers. Rigged. It's funny that this is the same message and the same lines to what I just read from Notice Impact. Okay, so this is Tuesday. These are clips from Tuesday, from yesterday. Russia's major earthquake prompts string of 7 volcanic eruptions. The magnitude 8.8 earthquake that struck off Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula last week has triggered the activity of 7 volcanoes in the area. The Institute of Volcanology and seismology and seismology of the Far Eastern branch of the Russian Academy of Sciences said this is the first time in almost 300 years that 7 volcanoes erupted at once in the region, according to the Russian Academy of Science. Another Notice Impact post. Florida is also pulling some gerrymandering fuck shit. Entire black majority district in Florida is gone. Florida, like Texas, is following a concerning trend among Republican-led states, doing everything they can to tip the scales toward a red wave in the midterm elections. No matter where you live, these moves could have major consequences for all of us. Red states trying to cheat their way to the midterm wins. Why is it always Florida or Texas? Texas Republicans are trying to force Texas Dems into voting for a redistricting bill that would likely eliminate 5 seats for the Dems. But Florida is also trying to do something similar. Last month, the Florida Supreme Court ruled in favor of Governor Ron DeSantis, declaring the redistricting map he pushed does not violate the Equal Protection Clause in the state constitution. This is all part of the national push as outlined in Project 2025 for conservatives to go after voter rights and access, which will make the future of voting, especially for minorities, more difficult. A panel of all DeSantis appointees ruled that the map proposed will be in place for the midterms and beyond. According to them, the area that connected an approximate 200-mile area from Jacksonville to Tallahassee, consisting mostly of black communities, were impermissible racial gerrymandering, which is Republican speak for we don't want black folks to have voting power because they mostly vote blue. Florida's 5th congressional district has been represented by black legislators for nearly 30 years. Now, the area is divided into 4 districts, all Republican. Honestly, this kind of shit is really hard to watch. This is hard to watch because I hate cheaters. I hate bullies. I hate fascism. I hate the entire energy of this modern Republican Party. This MAGA, fascist, Trumpist, cultist Republican Party. I do not really know what politics was before Trump because I really started to pay attention because of Trump. I was really happy when Obama won, but that was it. And that was as far as I could. The most I watched was when he won the night, and that was it. I didn't follow politics after that. And I only started to follow politics when Trump won. And a little bit after his inauguration, I started to pay attention because I was like, oh gosh, this country is going to change for the worse. It's going to get ugly. And it got just as ugly as I expected it to, because I expected it to get extremely ugly. And it went as far as I expected, because none of this surprises me. And it made me want to step up. It made me want to do more. It made me want to step outside of my comfort zone. I am an INFJ. I am an introverted, intuitive, feeling, judging personality. And part of that, the main part of that, is that I'm introverted. I speaking out loud, and especially speaking out loud on controversial topics, and actually calling names and talking about people and doing this shit that I'm doing, is outside my comfort zone. And I started to do it. I started to do it in 2020. I haven't stopped. I just kept doing it and doing it and doing it, because, and getting better at it as I go along. But it's still outside my comfort zone. But I cannot stand the energy of this party, and I cannot stand where we are right now, and I cannot stand how much they're getting away with, and I can't fathom, and I don't know how Democrats, how the people, how they get the country back, and how do they grab this power, like reclaim this power that these people are trying to steal from them, take it out of their hands, and take away as much of power as possible. I do not know, because they have this machine, this structure that is so big and has been built over years and years and years and years, from my understanding. And I'm just like waiting for some of the old effers like Mitch McConnell and some of the old ones to die. But even so, they are solidifying certain things to make it impossible to reclaim that what has been taken. And I absolutely don't know how this is gonna go. I don't know how this is gonna go. I don't know how the people are going to win. And it's just so much, and it's a lot. And I am an observer, because I do not know. I don't know what the solution is, because to me, like I said, everything is just black and white, right and wrong. And some people are choosing wrong, and some people are choosing right. And everybody, in my opinion, except the sleepers, the people that still asleep, that haven't woken up yet, but everybody that has woken up has chosen one side or the other. And they know full well, like the people that choose to do the wrong thing and choose the dark side, they know that they're on the dark side, and they know that they're doing the wrong thing. I don't know how they're rationalizing it in their head, but they know that they're doing the wrong thing. Okay. If you believe it will work out, you'll see opportunities. If you believe it won't, you'll see obstacles. National Park Services to reinstall Confederate statue in Washington, D.C. that was toppled during the 2020 protests. Civilian armada to challenge Gaza blockade again. So this one here is quite weird, about Trump on the roof. That is just weird. President Trump answered questions from reporters from the roof of the White House's West Wing. Trump recently overhauled the White House Rose Garden, transforming the garden's famous lawn into a stone patio. The administration also plans to begin construction in September on a $200 million ballroom on the east part of the mansion that Trump has vowed to pay for with his own money and private donations. Bullshit. I screenshot this because I got to be a part of Midas Touch from the beginning. I watched Midas Touch when they first started out, and I followed and I listened to Midas Touch podcast weekly for many years, for a long time. I went on that journey with Midas Touch, and I kind of got off the Midas Touch train, not because I'm no longer a fan, but just because what they're focusing on is not what I am interested in, and what I am interested in consuming or focusing on. So I had to get off the Midas Touch train. But nevertheless, I screenshot this because I was there from the beginning, and to see how far they come is just fantastic. I'm happy for the Midas Touch, the Midas Bros, the Mycellus brothers, because I was a mighty person for many, many years. So Midas Touch podcast, Road to 50K. It's your discipline that shapes your future, not your dreams. It's your discipline that shapes your future, not your dreams. Gerrymandering is the buzzword of the week. Texas Republicans are trying to cheat to win. It might be a good time to remind yourself what gerrymandering is. The basics. What is gerrymandering? Gerrymandering is a manipulation of electoral district boundaries to give one political party or demographic an advantage over others. This typically entrenches power for one party and makes elections less competitive because the voting power of certain demographics is being either heightened or weakened. How is this allowed? Remember that the U.S. is a representative democracy, i.e., we elect officials to serve as our representatives in government. To ensure fair representation as cities and demographics change, congressional and state legislative districts must be redrawn every 10 years. This is redistricting. Redistricting isn't inherently a problem, except that people want to use redistricting for political gain through gerrymandering. Many states have independent redistricting committees to stay unbiased, but many others still allow legislators to redraw maps. How they do this? Cracking and packing. The most common ways maps are manipulated are through cracking and packing. Cracking is when maps redistrict a group of voters so that they are spread across multiple districts. They are weakening groups by dividing their votes, weakening a collective voice. Packing is the opposite. It is when a group of voters is concentrated in a small number of districts to strengthen their votes and collective voice. Who does gerrymandering affect? Simply said, voters. Shocking no one, gerrymandering is usually used to suppress the votes of minorities. This can be minority opposition, racial minorities, college students, and more. But ultimately, it affects everyone in the U.S. because gerrymandering weakens democracy. Gerrymandering makes sure those in power stay in power, regardless of shifting community values. And I will just go back to saying right is right and wrong is wrong, and there's no context to add to these things. Right is right and wrong is wrong. Cheating is cheating. Unapologetically be your authentic self. The right people and opportunities will align, while the wrong ones will fall away. Another notice impact post. How to rig an election according to MAGA. The party of entrenched power has done far more than just gerrymander in Texas. Here are a few other examples of how they rig the system to keep the map red. Believe it or not, the recent Texas redistricting isn't the first time MAGA Republicans have tried to rig elections in their favor. There's a long saga of introduced legislation projects and gerrymandering that suppress voters and protects those in power. Voters redistricting efforts en masse. After the 2020 elections, Republicans introduced 440 voting restriction efforts as Trump cried that the election was stolen without any proof. Sore loser. Only 34 of these were actually enacted. 4 Republican-led states passed sweeping election bills with stricter voting restrictions and harsher voter requirements. 7 states also shrunk the time frame for requesting mail ballots. The SAVE Act. The SAVE Act is a Republican-backed federal bill that would require more proof of citizenship when registering to vote. This includes documentation, real IDs, passport, and birth certificates. While that doesn't sound that bad, the reality is many citizens don't have the documents that this act would require. This includes women who have just changed their names after marriage, people of color, young voters, and people who may have lost those documents in natural disasters. Restrictions like these silence a lot of the population and are used to propel the myth that non-citizens are voting, even though studies show they aren't. The Red Map Project. The Red Map Project was a Republican led strategy in 2010 to gain control of key state legislators. They focused resources on targeting critical state races and were able to get control of about 10 states through redistricting. It was basically what it sounds like, a concerted effort to make the map red through gerrymandering. For example, in 2012, Democrats won the majority of votes in Pennsylvania, but due to redistricting, they secured fewer seats. This led to entrenched Republican power in Congress. A video that I did this morning, and that's and the last thing I'm gonna say. Them, what are your hobbies? Me, I love coming home, being at home, and sitting inside my home, and sitting inside my home and staying home. And I'm going to end this video here, and I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful and informative. Thank you for watching. Peace and blessings. I know these videos are getting longer, but it's because we got a lot to learn, and I just go through the whole process of my personal observations, my personal experience, and how I'm navigating, telling my story, and then moving in to the external, what is happening in the external, what I'm seeing, what I am collecting in terms of digital clippings, and share my 2 cents on certain things. So thank you for watching and sticking with me. Peace and blessings and a lot of love.